some write black and white. Just, but it's not necessarily used the way it should be used in a typical technique. This one also has some write black and white, and it is used as it should be used, meaning the red and the black interact in certain areas on the shadow mask, and in the high mask, in the highlight, the red is kept pure, is kept clean. So I love this. This is Fortune, right? Kind of balancing very nimbly over a sphere, and here she comes. You can see how speedy she can speed through the world, right? And I like the frightened sea monster that looks like a cat. Really lovely. But this is again the allegory of Fortune, right? So let's start with Watteau. Watteau is a Rococo artist. Here's this delightful scene of love, various types of love, right? From more,
One person, it looks more like lust, but anyway.
it looks more like a what?
Lust.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was getting there, right? So this is this is more a lustful scene. So love and lust, right? In some cases, it's really idealized love. In some cases, it's much more frivolous and again urgently lustful. And clearly, she says, "Leave me alone," right? This young lady says, "Leave me alone. I don't love you. I love Francois," right? And he says, "What does he have that I don't have?" All right, so I'm gonna try to use this paper. Actually, this paper here. This paper here is this one is smoother. This paper here is not the same color as that, but it approximates the value, right? This looks much darker on screen that is in real life. So, but I'm gonna use this paper here, and I'm gonna use the paper pastel crayons. So you can work with pastel, you can work with color pencils. Either way is fine. I'm gonna use these oil-based Pit Pastel. You can also work with the Generals pastels, but it's up to you, right? It's up to you. All right, so let's see. Start with this lady on the right. Really lovely. We need black. For the black, probably you can also use charcoal, but I have a bit pastel black, right? All base. Here we go. All right, this looks good. Gonna sharpen it. I wonder what kind of color that is. It's bluish. It could be charcoal, bluish charcoal.
Yeah, I pulled out a blue pencil.
Yeah, it looks like charcoal, right? So maybe I'm gonna get charcoal. But my charcoal is not the bluish. Charcoal can have a definitely bluish cast, right? But let's see if we can get a bluish cast for that. So let's try. I'm gonna try with the charcoal and then use the red chalk. So charcoal for the black, and then red chalk for the red part. So blocking the rib cage here, right? I look at this angle here, this angle, and this part here comes out straight. This part goes out at an angle.
Are we just doing this as a central figure on this paper?
You know, I'm doing it.
We're not going to do both drawings on one page.
No, I think it would be too crowded. So Yeah,
think,
it's a
for
good
me,
question. It
yes.
could be too crowded, so I'm going to keep them do them in two separate pages, right? So now here, the corset, right? And this, look how angled this line here, quite angled, right? More than like closer to the horizontal line than to the vertical line, so quite angled. And comes up here like this, shoulder. This line here more or less parallel, the line of the shoulder parallel to the line of the waist. Obviously shorter skirt, down like this, right? Skirt out like that, straight down. So blocking this straight down, and then we carve out the folds later on. So I block in the skirt, and then we can measure, right? We can measure if we have the right proportional relationships between the two. So let's see. I'm measuring more or less from the shoulder to the waist here, and see how it relates to the skirt. That's this plus, you know, the skirt is this much longer than the torso, so comes from here to here. All right, it looks okay. It looks okay. I'll leave it like that. We can also check the width of the skirt and the height of the skirt. We could do, right? It's slightly wider than high, starting from this corner here. That.
Really?
Yeah, see that? Look, let me get the tool, right?
I'm not starting from the same point. That's my problem.
Yeah, it's for yeah. You can start from here, or it doesn't matter as long as you find the right proportional relationships. See that? If I measure from here,
Okay, got that.
I go down there where I block that, and then it's you know, the width is a little bit bigger, you know, a little bit bigger than what I did. So here. Now, this looks similar, right? The lower part of the skirt looks similar to the upper part of the skirt. And they had to carry around a lot of silk, a lot of clothes. Arm. You see the pinky gets almost to the level of the maximum width of the skirt, right? If I bring it up like this, I line it up, it's about here. I'm not gonna draw the hand, I wanna use the red for the hand. This arm comes down like this. The elbow gets down at the level of this fold here. A little foot. And then the hand here. Head, now we're gonna use the red for the head because it's so, just red, right? No, I need to use the non-oil based red. The marks are very different. Okay. So the oil-based red is very smooth. It can give you a lot of detail, really not a nice detail. But the non-oil base is more like a pastel, so it's a little bit grainier. And this is clearly a grainier mark, so I need to use the non-oil based. Okay, so let's see now. This is the non-oil based Pitt Pastel, right? Let's see. Pretty head here. Hand, right at the wrist. Almost straight. This line is almost straight. Now that's the ulna, the bump of the ulna, and now the back of the hand here, and we can attach the finger. So we're blocking this conical truncated cone shape here, right? And then we blocking the fingers down like that. The thumb's almost straight, very close to the skirt. So index, and then 3 other fingers, 2 are next to each other, and 1 pinky is slightly detached. Okay. So skirt here, a nice red mark.
Oops, still working on the fingers here.
Same thing for the other hand. So we can start now for the, here this forearm, here a little bit of a line. The back of the hand, right? And then we can attach the fingers. So when we're done blocking, we're going to block in the facial feature, and then we can start blocking a little bit of the color of the skirt here, right? The folds of the skirt. So the eyebrow, it looks like it's kind of halfway, starting from the hairline, it's halfway this phase, right? So this line here is halfway between the hairline and the chin. So let's say that's the hairline. I'm going to add some hair. So that's the eyebrow here. The nose and the mouth. Like that. Right? Again, there's a little bit of a touch of white And the eyelid and the nose. Here. Here. The chin. Not so sharp as I have it. But just barely visible. See, this red here looks quite dark on the side here. On the side of the face, the side of the nose is shaded, so here it blocks in some volume. Yeah, it blocks in with a very swift, softer, wider line. The shadow, the area of the hands and the shadow, and the area of the face and the shadow here, a little bit darker. Tip of the nose. The red I have is not as a violet. This is a violet red, like a cooler red. Mine is warmer, but that's fine. I'm thinking maybe I could also try to block in here a little bit of a softer margin for the side of the face, and a little bit of black here to darken that part in there very carefully, to darken that part of the face, part of the hair. So now, start blocking in some fold, right? Actually, you need red here first, red. All right, so now, you okay? You need me to slow down a second?
Yeah, I'm struggling with the face.
With the face,
I have one of my typical childlike faces here. I'm trying to avoid.
It could be the forehead is too big.
Yep, probably. Can't be. No, she's got a very big forehead.
She does, right? She does. She should be, the space between the hairline and the eyebrow should be the same as the space between the eyebrows and the chin.
It is. The space is right.
So
what happens if my mouth is too far away from my nose?
you gotta raise it and then move it up, right?
Yeah. I think
But check out the space you have now between the mouth and the chin to make sure that the chin is also the right height. That could also be a probably factor.
Got a very severe line for the chin.
Oh, that's better than mine. Mine is sort of mushy. Very short line.
There's me. Straight up.
So this could be that the bluish color cast of this color here could be a pastel. He was using a pastel. It could also be that he was using vine black, which is vine charcoal, which is typically cooler, and that other charcoal is warmer cast.
You didn't stump around the woman's face at all, did you?
Sorry?
You didn't use your stump around her face, did you?
No. You can, but I think he didn't really use the stump here. He just pushed it in very softly like this. Look, on the side like this. Then you go soft like that.
Oh, yeah. Stuff like that, yeah.
This is a very nice technique to use for quick sketches.
Okay, I'm happy with my girl.
So
Okay.
I'm blocking in now. There's some folds here. And this is dark now. I push the dark a little bit. And that is red and black mixed together.
So we're using the black as well. Where's my black?
Yeah. And then there's a white up here in the upper part of the sleeve here, but I want to block in first the side here. So he uses this line here to create both the movement of the sleeve, the fold of the cloth, and also the shadow.
He's got a line right down the middle directing the hand. But
Oh, this line here, right? Yeah, that's the line that probably he blocked in first to create a sense of direction. Like this one, see that? But in here, just very, very thin. So this line here, is that the line you're talking about?
yeah, I just saw that one.
That gives the direction of the arm. Probably is when he was studying the composition.
What are we doing here?
So now I'm blocking some white on the top of the sleeve. It looks like it shows a little bit of a shininess from silk, right?
Oh, nice.
This part in here is all darker here. There is a line in charcoal here for the hand. I would just omit that, right? For the right, the hand on the right has a ghost image, right?
Okay, I don't have that sleeve etched in at all.
Yeah.
You don't have that?
Well, I mean, I have the initial drawing, but I see you have it all fluffed.
Oh, okay.
Mine is-
No, I can wait now. I can wait so you can put it up. See, somebody's
I'm gonna try blue.
late.
Again, he's got a line directing the hand there.
I'm checking if somebody is late. Usually when there's only two people, sometimes the student cannot get in. Or maybe it's a nice day, people went to the beach, right?
Oh, I don't think so. I think they're busy packing.
I do too.
I found the video, so I watched the video.
You found the video?
Yeah. Got very lovely fingers, and mine are not so lovely.
Okay. Oh. This part in here, see, it looks like there's also the side of the hand here looks like there's red, but that red is very dark, and I'm not sure if you put some black in it, but I'm gonna put some black in there because it helps to create a better outline of the finger and also create the sense of shadow on one side of the finger. This charcoal here has a little bit of a darker color here. I mean, the bust, the corset is a bit darker here, with a very soft rendering of that shadow, right? And then we have these lines here.
His charcoal is definitely blue. It's making me a little crazy.
What charcoal are you using?
I'm using Cretacolor
Oh, Cretacolor, okay.
because it doesn't get all over me as much.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to be quite a task to get up in the morning and put up all this stuff. But I think that's the French court was the French nobility was basically they established themselves at the court, right? That all the court of the king. That all they had to do is just to walk around the gardens of the king, right?
They didn't really, a lot of them never even got up in the morning.
Yeah.
They just received people in their bedrooms for
Right.
a while.
Yeah. Instead, the English, they were going around, they were landed nobility, right? They had land to manage. They had more pragmatic. They had to organize the estate, etc.
I'm doing my other hand.
You doing your hand? Okay.
Yeah, I think I got 6 fingers.
Well, see, we can match because I only got 4.
So blocking, the conical, right? The conical part of the hand, right? Well, not conical, but truncated cone like this, right? And then once you have this segment here, right? You can round it, you can change it. Sorry, it's not showing. Block it in like this, see that here? And then you can round the wrist here, and then you can attach the finger. But I would line up the direction of the fingers first. And this pinky goes out horizontally and then bends. This second finger goes out slightly at a more pronounced angle, and this is also a slightly more pronounced angle. And then the thumb comes from the side here, like this. And then you can block in the volume of the fingers, right? Following the line that you have to establish the direction of the fingers. Yeah, I don't think you use any stump here.
I don't think there's any stumping. Maybe a little in the skirt. That's all.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to use instead of using the charcoal, the compressed charcoal. I'm gonna use the nitrum, the stick, because it looks this charcoal looks so much softer, right, than what I have. So I'm gonna try to use lighten up this, right, and then try to go over it again with a stick instead of the compressed charcoal in pencil, because it looks better. It looks softer mark. How is the Cretacolor stick going?
It makes a nice mark. It's just the color is wrong.
Is it very dark, the mark, or?
It's gray.
Gray, okay, well, gray is fine.
Mine is blue. I have the pastel blue.
Yeah, no, it's blue. The picture is blue, but I don't have. So I don't. I quite do not understand if that is a problem with the reproduction, because sometimes the reproduction have widely different colors from reproduction to reproduction, or if it's something that he used that is either charcoal, vine charcoal, which is bluish, or if it's a bluish pastel. Not clear. There was no mention of material. I suspect this was charcoal, and the reproduction is making the color a little bit bluer, but yeah, the vine, the stick is better than the compressed. It has more subtle, the subtle grain, more subtle grain. It's strange how he was creating all this scene of a costume figure, very theatrical. I think this was a period where the Teatro dell'Arte, which was eventually ousted from France because France started developing their own identity, cultural. So they kicked out. First they called the Benares to decorate. They called the Benares. They called Caravaggio in France, and to help create art. Once they got it, they kicked them out.
Yeah, that's where they are, the French.
And then they kicked out Caravaggio. They started saying bad things about Caravaggio. Started ousting the committee.
I don't know that Caravaggio, he went to France?
Oh, sorry, no, Caravaggio. Bernini.
And Leonardo went.
No, Bernini. Yeah, Leonardo went, but also Bernini, right? Bernini was
Yeah.
first employed by the king to create equestrian sculptures, etc., and then he was eventually kicked out, mostly by courtiers, right? Courtiers.
Oh my gosh, where are you going with all this? I'm working on the hands and I looked up and you've got a whole skirt.
I got the skirt, right? You got the skirt going.
The fun stuff.
Which hand are you working on?
Both of them, they both need work. But the left hand, I went back with my Natrum. On it. The Nitram I'm enjoying.
Nitram is nice, right? Nitram is very good.
I can't say I ever enjoyed it before, but oh dear.
I saw some. I'm looking at this a book on Rome, right? Reading a little bit more of the monument things we can go see, and they have reproduction of these watercolors made during the French occupation of Italy in 1800, and where they were excavating and reconstructing and making museums, and the reconstruction of the Roman ruins, meaning on drawing, right, hypothetical, not, are just beautiful watercolors. They show these gorgeous watercolors showing how the Domus Aurea was, how the Domus Aurea was, how the Palace of Hadrian, the Palace of Augustus, and all this thing. Beautiful watercolor, and they are today all visible. You can find reproduction of those, but they are all at the School of Fine Arts in Paris. But they had this, before cameras, right, they had this way of recording monument by just simply drawing them, making watercolor. They did the same thing in Egypt.
Yes.
With this beautiful reproduction of art, monuments. So, I don't see the other foot. I guess the other foot is back behind the skirt, right?
Good. What a tiny little foot.
Yeah, tiny little foot, right? Carol, leave the hand alone a little bit. Go back to the hand
Oh,
later.
I'm on the skirt. I'm on the skirt.
Ah, okay. Sometimes you need to take a break and
Oh, I know. My hands get me every time.
Roberto has a video on drawing hands, Carol.
I know. If my life ever slows down, I'll take some of these videos.
I know, I say I need to break both legs.
Oh, God, no. Been too busy.
so Carol, I heard you've been traveling all over the place, and now you're going to Italy, right? When are you going?
Yes. It's tiring, actually. Well, we were in Las Vegas. I don't know why any person would ever go to Las Vegas.
No, I don't know either. I don't think Las Vegas is for me. It's too much. I never went, but I think going to Las Vegas is about it's loud noise and colors, and then you give the money to the guy at the casino. You never see the money back, right?
Well, we went for a celebration of friends of ours from California,
Ah, okay.
and we stayed at the Bellagio, which is lovely. But it's just noisy people, and some of the most poorly dressed women I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. I would have loved to have just taken some pictures of them.
So now having working on this beautiful little costume is kind of makes you feel better, right?
A relief.
A relief, right?
Okay, how big are we making the foot here? I got to the foot.
The back of the foot?
No, I'm working on the foot.
Ah, okay.
Just a little tiny.
It's a tiny little pointy thing with the pointy shoes, right? Yeah, definitely the charcoal, the nitro charcoal is much better than the compressed charcoal we used before. It's so much softer, so much more subtle.
I love the way you did the lines in the lower skirt there.
I have the same lines. I don't have the same value.
They're
Value.
too light.
Yeah, no, my dark lines are too dark, and I'm not worried about
That's
that.
Leora, and my lines are too light. That's Carol.
What charcoal are you using? Is that hard, medium?
Who, me?
Because that's gonna make a difference. I think I'm using is medium, but it also depends on the paper, right? So if you use a hard charcoal on smooth paper, it's difficult to the charcoal does not release a lot of pigment. But if you use a slightly more textured paper that is more abrasive, then you release more charcoal. So what type of gradation of charcoal you use and what type of paper you use, it makes a big difference.
Well, I'm on the Stonehenge
For Stonehenge, okay.
paper.
So the Stonehenge paper is very compact. It's beautiful paper. It's very compact, and it might be. It makes thinner. It lets you make thinner marks. So because it doesn't have much surface, right? This one has not much texture. This one has a little bit of texture, so the mark is softer and grainier. I would try to use a medium, medium charcoal. That should be okay. Medium gradation. Light here.
Lighting.
This to be darker.
My white is so white.
You see it on the screen, or you see it on a?
No, on my paper
Oh.
because I guess
Is it Generals? Is it Conti?
it's Conti.
Okay. And now I'm gonna draw the lines of the skirt here. Right?
Now, what are we doing with the white? Oh, white.
Yeah, yeah, blocked in. Be careful. I mean, it shows much more strongly in on the screen than I have it in here. And again, by now we know it's the reflection of the white is picked up much more strongly by the camera than you would see it in real life. So. So it turns out that remember the Gap ballerina we did on white background for the Gap ballerinas session.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't do that session.
Ah, okay.
I might not have done that too. I've missed a couple in this.
Oh, okay. No, I mean it was one session like that. So we did the Gap ballerina.
No, but I got the pictures.
Ah, you got the picture. Okay. It turns out that so that's the only image I could find online, and I love that ballerina, and it looks strangely harsh, right? It turns out that that image is from a book, and they modify it by. So the original is not on a white background; it's on a background this dark, actually more pink, and it's not done with charcoal; it's done with graphite. It looks like it's done with charcoal because they pushed the contrast of the original with Photoshop, I think. They took off the colored background and put it on a white background, and then increased the contrast of the black, so that the black lines looks like they are made with charcoal, but in reality is graphite. And in the original drawing, that line is so much softer. So you cannot really trust images today that you find online. It's just people feel the need to mess with them, edit them, add colors.
That's why Albert Barnes would not allow any of his images to be reproduced.
To be yeah.
Because he just said they won't get it right.
My first art history books in high school, they were all in black and white. They were following that. They were saying it's not important, the color, because it's not reliable. But it's important to see the composition, to see the narrative, to see the contrast, the value. But then later on, of course, the reproduction technique, the printing technique improved greatly, and you could trust the images, but to a certain extent, right? Because, for example, when you talk about colorists, right, if you want to study them, either you go see them in real life, or you gotta, you don't have an idea what the color is. So I think it's the discussion: is it better to have a good approximate reproduction of the colors, or black and white? Because when it comes to colorists, the color is very important. So yeah, they are very theatrical, right? This figurine, they are very again, the idea of the theater, commedia dell'arte narrative is very important for this period here. The other couple instead is done resolved mostly with the chalk, red chalk. So I got another piece of paper for that.
Boy, this stuff gets dull so fast.
I'm sorry.
My pencils get dull so fast.
No kidding.
Yeah, I guess that probably the surface of the paper that is very abrasive.
Probably not pressing down too hard, but anyway.
All right, so let's see. I don't have any paper that approximates a kind of violet cast that this paper has. Way too dark.
Well, for the next one, should I stick with the Stonehenge or go to different drawing paper?
Why don't we try different drawing paper so we see the difference, right? So we see how. So it looks to me like this paper here was fairly compact. It had a little bit of fuzz, right? But it's fairly compact because those lines are so sharp. They don't have any fuzziness. But what paper do you have?
I have a lot of Strathmore Sketch, Strathmore Tone Tan, Gray, Strathmore Gray.
Try Strathmore Tone Tan or Gray. I mean, if you get this is kind of a violetish gray, right? And I don't have that, so.
Every week it's something different.
Yeah, just to try different.
Yeah.
A different type of paper, right? So I'm gonna use a paper that is slightly cooler, not as cool as this, and a little bit darker, but softer, just to see what happens. So this one here was a Strathmore tone paper, and it was good for the purpose because it has nice sharp line. But I want to try with a soft paper to see what happens.
Wait, do you want to see Our Lady?
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty, I got my picture on with her little childlike face.
Can you put it closer? It's very dark. Can you see? Okay, okay. Okay. Yeah, she's leaning a little bit too much, but that's fine. That's fine. So, did you use the stump to spread the charcoal?
No.
Oh, okay. Right. So the image is really not clear. It's dark, but because of the light condition. But it looks okay, except it's leaning a little bit too much, but it looks okay. The proportion look nice. The proportion look nice. Try see that how in some parts in here you have a clear this distinction between the dark area and the light area.
The mark is not consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it because you're right. You're exactly the point, right? So because that will create a sense of planes, plane like this, plane like that, right? That helps with the volume, right? With the volume of the figure, right?
Okay.
Carol? Okay, so the same thing. You have some areas that are standing out too much. For example, here, this area here, right? You have a very strong light to come down like that, and here, very strong light here and here. But it's not
This is
so.
the white mark.
Yeah, the white is too white, and what that does, it creates a flat pattern that flattens the whole skirt. On the side in here, this part in here, you see that there is a more consistent area of dark value here that goes all the way from here to here to here in a more consistent way, so that the form turns,
okay.
right? In your drawing, you have a very very dark area here and very light area here, so the form here turns in a way. The form here turns much less. So
Okay.
you need to kind of have this tonal gradation related properly to the turning of the form of the skirt. Right? So I would darken this part in here. I would darken this part. Actually, no, not so much this one. This one here. This
Okay.
part in here, and I would be careful with the white that you put in here. Maybe lift it a little bit and lift it a little bit here, because it's too sudden,
Too bright.
right? Too sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, I did smudge
did-
it, but
Yeah, and I went from blue to black.
yeah, I tried blue. Didn't work.
Didn't work, right? No, I do think it's some sort of charcoal.
Okay.
Right. So
No, wait a minute.
Try again.
I didn't darken, but I did try to lighten. Did you see that?
can you lift it? Oh yeah. That's better. That's better, right? Yeah.
And I think her head is tipped too far.
So I think so the head now. You see how on the side of the head he put some darker red here.
Right.
That is important too, and also the eyelid, etc. What you could do, if the red that you have is not dark enough, you could go over it with a little bit like this, with a little bit of charcoal, or a dark pencil here, and darken those areas here a little bit to create a turning of the form. Otherwise, the skirt and the dress is so nice and defined and dark, and the head is very diaphanous and weak. You need to push that a little bit more to make sense of the. I mean, to kind of have the same solidity or similar solidity that the dress has, right? Otherwise, they look separate, right?
So
See
the
this
whole
part
thing
in here.
is
See,
really make sure the turn on the right side of the picture is consistent all the way down.
say that again.
That the turn, that all the shading on the right side
Yeah.
with the bent arm is consistent.
Yes. Yeah. All this part in here. See that here.
Yep. Including her arm, I think.
Yeah. The arm here has a dark value here. See that here. So all the shade is consistent with the turning of the form or cast shadow. Like this is cast shadow.
Okay. All right. That's very good comment. And I didn't really do her top of her skirt here. Okay. So number 2.
Yeah, let's go with the guy and the girl here. Guys,
I think when he does the drawing, what he really likes is when he draws in red pencil.
yeah, red pencil are just I don't know, so bright, so beautiful. The contrast between in this case in here, this paper here works well with the red because there's a contrast between the warmth of the red and the coolness of the gray, the high chroma and the low chroma, and that helps to create a sense of shiny. Right? When you put the white on it, you put the white on the skirting here, it really looks shiny. So you have an interplay between cool and warm, right? Shiny and dull. So I think that we can start with the skirt. The skirt is so tall, right, and uniform. It creates a good base, right? A good base for the figure, for the female figure. So let's block in the skirt here. And think of what you guys saw before, right? So, oh, think of this work in here. Probably this. See the head here, right? There's an oval there. And then on top of that, he builds up. See this head here? There's an oval here, like what we do when we draw our figures. We block in first an oval, right? And then we block in.
You can see, Roberto, where he drew a circle.
Yeah.
And then add a chin.
Yeah, right. You see that, right? And then he blocks in a few coordinates here, a few more, the coordinate for the eyes, the coordinate for the nose and the mouth, and that adds a little bit of detail. And suddenly, all that structural aspect is gone. It's going to be overruled by the following lines, right? So I'm gonna block in.
Did we do any measurements at all on this guy?
Not yet. I'm gonna block. So what I want to do, use the approach of draw first and then measure, because that way we can practice our sense of proportion, right? So this is the skirt, right?
Not as small.
Let's see if it's good. Maybe it's a little bit wide, but let's see the width of the skirt at maybe at this point in here, right? We're gonna pick a point here and see how it relates to the height here. And then we have 1, 2, 2.5. So here, 1, 2. It's a little bit too wide, so I'm gonna narrow it a little bit. We need to look at the ratio, right? One, two.
Wait, can we see that again? It's
Yeah, sure. So what I did,
what's your initial measurement? I'm sorry.
what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find the ratio width to height of the skirt. So what I did, I picked a spot, right? I could have picked a spot here at the waist, but it's not visible. So I picked a spot in here, just a little bit below, right? And take that, and then I go now from the waist here. 1, 2, actually a little bit more than 2.5, right? So now, similar thing here, right? This goes out now like this, changes direction here. So that is the spot, more or less. So I take this, 1, 2, a little bit shorter, should be a little bit shorter, right? Or, yeah. And the foot is going to be more or less here. So now we can eyeball the.
Okay, we're just making one line for the skirt.
Mhm.
I'm not doing. I'm not.
These are quick sketches, right? We can do. It's nice to do the sketches because you can do a lot of these in a relatively little time, and you really practice. We can practice drawing, right, as much as possible. So, what's the block in the skirt? You need a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm good.
You good?
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
So now I'm trying to block in the torso, right? The rib cage here, and if you see this line here, the narrowing the waist in here, the corset gets down a little bit lower here, right? And we see that I want to compare two widths that seem similar to me, and I wonder if the height of the rib cage for the corset from here to the chin is similar to the width of the skirt here, which looks like it. So I'm gonna take this measurement here. and then I put it here, and it's the same. So now I take this measurement here, I mark where the coarse more or less should be, and I bring up this measurement here.
Whoops.
So remember, we are copying what he did, right? So we are not going to do exactly proceed exactly like this when we copy from life, but we could, in a sense that if we have the model like this, we can line up our measurement. Imagine this is the model and not the drawing. We can line up this measurement here and compare them, right, to each other at a distance, and it's still the same method.
The chin from here. My head was too low.
So now we have here the chin is about here. The chin is the level of the shoulders, right here, more or less, right here. And that's the head. And we have this oval, right? You've seen the oval now, right? It's really revealing. These sketches, I love them because I choose sketches very often, or drawing that very often have a trace of the method that was used. And this one clearly has it. We just need to know what we are looking for. But I'm glad you've seen all these, right? You know, you've seen all of these ovals, lines of gesture, right? Look at this line of gesture here, right? See that line of movement, see that along the arm, beautiful, right? So that is basically the scaffolding that we probably see also, we would have seen also under this figure here. So this is simply not completely finished, right? So look at the angle of the head, right? Eyebrows, nose, and mouth. Very, very pointy, small chin.
The same lady.
The color here is at the level of the nose here. Then he hinted at the hair, and at the shadow here on the side of the face with some charcoal, but we wait for that. Because we see that most of it has been resolved first with red chalk, right? So now we can block in the guy, starting from the head. His head is kind of the same level as the head of the young lady here. And we block in the, so his chin a little bit higher is here. We block in this head slightly at an angle, drawing those ovals, facial mask and cranial volume. Look at the distance between his face and her face. Right here, negative space. Probably closer.
He looks like an animal to me.
Hormones will do that to you. So you got this head. So I think his main client were all bourgeois, not nobles.
Wait a minute, I've got that face wrong here.
I mean, look at his jawline. Very strict.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
just unfinished, I think. But
Yeah, it's just blocking in. See that so what we see here is the round volume for the cranium, right?
Right.
And then the facial mask here. Like that. And then he blocks in the lines. Here, you see the line for the brow ridge, right? The mouth, the nose, and that quickly becomes a face. Now we have on the left side of his face, at the level of his nose, right, or at the level of the eye, the eye left of the lady here, we see this his shoulder, right? Kind of pushing against her, and then on the other side, pretty much the same level at the shoulder. On the other side, we have this, the beginning of the shoulder turning like this. See that how we kind of create this sweeping line, right? See that? Beautiful, right? Beautiful. And her arm is countering that action, and you got this going that way, right? So 1 and 2, action and reaction. And then the side of the rib cage of this guy here, the side of the body, and he's got this beautiful fluid leg, right? So we could block in, yeah, let's block in this leg here. It goes out like that, right? And like this.
She's got a little hand behind her.
Like here, like here.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's kind of hugging, right?
grabbing.
Kind of being grabbing, being pushy, being grabby.
I'm good with that. Boy, he didn't like this man. Funny foot.
So that foot, right? And the foot here. And then the head. That's probably a bit lower here.
I can't really figure out where their arms are.
Her arm is here.
She's
See
got
that?
She's
Here.
got a big sleeve over his arm,
See that? Here. This is her arm. See that?
but she's got a big sleeve.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah, the sleeve, exactly. And his arm is going under her sleeve here, right? See that a little bit. So that's, I think I might lift her head a little bit.
Look, big collars they all wear.
Yeah, I think my head has to go up too.
Let mine up, I pushed it down. She's staying where she is. He's like a really, his face is something else.
Carol, he just didn't finish it. He's interested in her dress.
Yeah, right.
Oh, like a dog.
Yeah, it's just, it's just scaffolding, right? It's just the first blocking in of the proportion.
Scaffolding, I'm gonna use
Probably
it.
there are studies for compositional study. Right? If you want to make a painting, you want to see, okay, what the pose could be, right? And I think these are done from life. So he was asking people to pose like this and models to pose like this, and and then we have this here coming up.
Wait a minute. I'm not coming up yet. I'm moving my face.
Using your faith.
Yeah, I'm moving my face.
We're gonna call a priest. And now we have this arm going under. All right. So the guy in the original leans more insistently than I have it in my drawing. I don't know. It leans more, right? So what could it be? I think the position of the head probably could move it a little bit closer.
I've drawn that head so many times now.
Yeah, my head needs to tilt a little differently. I don't have it.
And mine looks friendly now. It's his hat.
There's more space. The legs are a little bit more abducted. Yeah, that hat is kind of funny, right?
It's the pointy nose and the pointy chin that make
Mm-hmm. But we don't have to copy exactly, right? The facial expression that is done so quickly, right? That
oh, that's had it better before. Where are we? What are we doing?
Just working on eyes.
this skirt has some of these beautiful folds. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So, but we created kind of a scaffolding. I figure we can eventually, get a little bit more.
Well, you can see from the drawing what he really is interested in is the skirt and the material in the skirt, and the rest of the drawing just supports the skirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I think she's got 2 feet, by the way.
She got 2 feet, right? I like the previous one. There's a corset here. You can see the corset with charcoal down here. It's down over the red, so I'm gonna wait to block in the corset after I have blocked in the folds of the skirt. So this part, I'll start with the central fold here, right? This part in here. Just come down.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to.
Quite strong, because then we can block in the folds on the side, on the right and the left. How is the new paper? How is the new paper you're using, Carol?
Good.
It's good? Give you a better mark?
Yeah. As long as they don't have fingers to draw on, okay.
Yeah, there's a hairless bunch here.
So really, right up there.
And this kind of interrupted, right? Strokes are quite efficient in suggesting the crinkliness of the silk.
Right.
I mean, the silk, a piece of silk can be mesmerizing when it's showing all those reflection and those colors. Probably can even play with some white chalk later on to put some white chalk in the folds. Even I don't see much white in the original. It could be interesting to play with that. Yeah, but you're right, Leora. He's really enjoying. He enjoyed doing this gown here.
Hard to see where her dress ends and his leg begins.
Yeah, very long legs, right?
They're two different color reds, unless
Yeah, it looks like it, right? And I don't have that darker violet red, so I only have the warmer red. I've been looking,
I keep switching pencils here. to
been
get the
looking
right-
for it, but I don't have it.
It's crazy.
I mean, at first I thought her skirt went way out to the right, but I think that's his leg.
No, it goes way
No,
out
this
to
is
the left.
this is his legs. This is the legs. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his
what I
leg.
thought was
Yeah,
the outside of the skirt at first.
yeah, that's his leg.
Getting lost in the folds here.
I know the folds are great, aren't they?
Okay, Roberto, I'm gonna ask you to let me finish the skirt here.
I'm gonna take a. I'm gonna take a break.
I keep switching pencils to get the right.
What pencil are you using?
Oh, right now I'm using Carmine.
Ah, okay. I would stick with just one color, and you have to worry about that. It's
Well, the other color was too orange.
it's too orange. Yeah, my color is orange too, and I said, oh well, right.
Yeah.
Carmine could be better, but you know.
Hemline is very complicated here.
The what?
The hemline is very complicated here. A lot of detail in the hemline.
So this part is dark. Pushes it darker.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not trying to achieve the same tonal level that he did because my red is lighter than he used, so I cannot do that.
I think I'm gonna have to spend a whole day just sharpening these pencils with a pen.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. I think this one had Chinese foot binding.
Right. I wonder if Pit Pastel, Faber-Castell makes a darker red pencil like this. I don't think she.
I've got one that's sort of a rose.
The one?
I have one that's like a rose red.
Rose red. See, I think what it is Indian, an Indian or Venetian red. It's a darker, cooler violet red. The sanguine is more on the orange side. This one looks more like on the violet side. It's cooler red side. And I
My
don't.
Venetian red is I think orangey.
Yeah, Venetian red is orangey, but that's why it's Indian, right? Indian, probably. I mean, that's the color.
That's the same. I thought those two
No,
colors
the
were very
Venetian is redder.
Venetian red is still on the warm side, but Indian is clearly more on the violet side.
Here's Indian. Yeah, I got Indian. This is fun. Trying all the colors.
She tried that to see if it works, but you have the pastel, right?
Still working on her skirt.
This one has no color in it.
Yeah, the Conti, maybe the Conti, but the Conti is too soft.
Yeah, I pulled out the Conti. It was too orange and too soft. And I'm sorry, I'm making us crazy about the colors.
No, I mean, it's an interesting problem to solve because eventually, a lot of these colors, the sanguine colors, are cooler than what is available today. So the Conti is a little bit darker, but it's very soft, and I don't want it soft.
The thing with this skirt is like some of the lines are dark and some are just sketchy.
Yeah, and I wonder if that is because you put the darker color like this right over it, or if you just push the color that you had more darker, like 2 or 3 times over the same area and made it darker. But now I'm trying to get this Conti, which is cooler and darker, to see if I can increase the contrast, extend the tonal scale.
He tried her arm in 2 different places here.
Well, we have.
He's got a little arm kind of resting on the top of his arm, and he goes, "Nah, I'm going to have her push him away at the chest."
Yeah. So that exactly.
Drawn in blue.
So this is his arm, right? And that's
Yes.
her arm that she pushes back, right? He's grabbing.
That's the one he decided on finally. Below that, there's just kind of a little. Yeah, maybe I'll put it. No, I'm going to put it up. That's my version.
Oh, okay. I don't see that. I see the frills here. I see the sleeve here of her, right? Her sleeve here, and under I see his arm really going.
But right on top of where his arm sweeps under.
Well, that's her arm. That's her arm, right? Arm.
That's the top arm. There's another one, a stunted thing underneath.
Well, it's because
I think he started with something and then said nope.
it could be. It could be. Yeah, it could be.
That's my version.
Okay, I think I need to show you my skirt.
Yep.
Let's see, one second, see where we are, rather than waiting till the very, very end. Hang on.
Yep. Okay. So, let me see.
I think I've got
All right,
one
if you
last
can
thing
push
for
it,
you.
I mean, it looks good. It looks good. I think if you can push it a little bit darker, because see, like here, right? See, in this area here, it's got
Yeah.
a strong dark contrast here. There's somehow sharper outline, and it goes down. They kind of soften up, but the deep part of the folds, maybe you want to push
Get
it.
deeper.
Yeah, you want to push the value a little bit more so they get deeper, right?
Oh, that makes perfect sense to me. Thank you. Then they seem to get a little lighter at the bottom of the skirt.
Down here.
Yes. Down
Yeah.
in the deep folds, they're not quite as dark, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is very
Yeah.
orange.
Yeah. I want to try to see what happens if I put a little bit of white in here, right? In between these areas in here, just to have that effect of strong refraction on the skirt right here. Right. Playing with it a little bit, see with the white, see what happened, right? The area below, they look really dark, and it's very important to darken this to create a sense of that depth and shadow there. So I'm darkening it with a Conti, but you can also darken it with the charcoal if you want. Okay.
Oops.
Yeah, the original guy is leading more strongly toward the lady, but that's fine. So, sharpen this a little bit more. These copies could also be done a little more instinctively without really worrying too much if you have it exactly like the original, but blocking in these figures the way he did it, and without measuring too much, but blocking just the scaffolding and then working on it. So for example, we could do, just as a way of practicing the method, right? You could do something like this, where you block in the skirt, right? Like that. Don't measure much. Block in the rib cage like this, right? Blocking the feet, blocking the head. Then you block in the guy here, right? And then you do this right here. Makes sense? So really more quickly render like that. And then you start adding the details. As a way of practicing of understanding, practicing your understanding of the proportions, the movement, the dynamism, and becoming freer in drawing. Now I'm gonna get the charcoal, block in some hair. Oh well, needs to be sharpened.
Did you put white on yours? On the skirt?
Yes, I put white on the skirt. Yeah, just to play with it. Wanted to see what happened.
Okay.
You don't have to, but you know, why not?
But light white.
White chalk, right?
Light.
Yeah, yeah, not a lot. Because I kind of see this part in here is a little bit lighter, but his paper is a little bit lighter too. So the white on his paper shows up less, because it makes less contrast. My paper shows out more, so I want to be careful with that. So the hair here, the side of the head, some charcoal here. Side of the face with charcoal. She's really losing her patience with this guy.
As well she should. She's probably Republican.
Kind of pushy.
Ted Cruz. Okay. So you gave her some hair? Here, okay.
Yeah, some hair with the charcoal, see that?
Your hair is much nicer than the drawing hair. She's probably very grateful.
I just love this video drawing that. I just so nice. I don't know, right? Little quick
I
moment.
agree. I like this drawing. I like this drawing.
Yeah, he was a great draftsman.
He's a little nutty, but
The charcoal is darker, but in this drawing, but it kind of helps having a darker mark here and there. Yeah, there's really not a lot of charcoal. I thought it was more charcoal. It's really not a lot. Now I'm going to spend time researching for a darker red, and I'll let you know if I find it. A more violet red in pastel, but a hard pastel, that's the thing. But the Cretacolor and Conti are good, but they are soft, and what I like to do, they don't work well for me.
Well, you're trying them great.
Yeah, because I'm trying to use these hard pastels, right? These Faber-Castell pencil. They are harder pastels, and I can replicate this super nice thin line, sharp line, and also be used softer and create wider, softer area. So they have a good range of mark making possibilities. Okay.
Oops.
Watteau. Wow, it's yeah. He created so many of these drawings that if you want, you can go online and download quite a few of them. There's quite a lot of them that you can use as inspiration, um, you know, and copy them.
Well, there's a little bit of fingers at the end of her hand.
Yeah. Mine
Yeah.
is too.
Like one of those garden tools, right? The rake.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have.
I started drawing them as like his shirt. I'm going, no, those are her fingers.
Yeah, the fingers. She's kind of.
She's got too many fingers.
Right. So I make the point that she's really not interested scratching his face off.
No, my husband's coming.
But I'm your husband. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Well, that too.
nose is something else.
This sleeve here looks like I could block in some more lines in here, right?
There's a lot of lines in there.
Where?
The whole top of the pushing away arm there, he had a lot of thinking about.
He did, right? He really wanted to convey that strong
Well, say he threw her elbow in there.
tension, right? The tension between the two, right there.
Red chalk, not what I want.
So this could be called, see this thing here, this thing is called line of action. Line of action because it kind of in a, like in the comics, right? When you see those, somebody punches somebody, you see the swinging,
Yeah.
right? So that this arm is rendered first as a line of action, and then, or this leg in here, they're almost lines of action, right? And then they can become more realistic, but that permits you to capture that sense of dynamism of action that it would be difficult to block in if you just start with the arm, describing the arm. Said this gives you really the sense of movement, of energy, of
I can't follow that.
I can't follow that either. I'm working. I mean, I follow what you just said. I just can't follow it on my drawing.
well, you mean the line of action?
Yeah, I have too many drawings here.
Yeah, you can keep it. You can keep it lighter, right? Just blocking it. See what I did before, right? This one here. Try to also do this, right? On separately, maybe another page. Do this scene with just a few lines and try to do it in a minute or so. Just to become, you can good at capturing the essence of the pose and the balance of the pose, the proportion, without measuring too much. The measure had to become more intuitive, right? Because then you can see, you can block a line, and then after you block the line, you can say, okay, no, that has to be wider than that. It had to be more to the left, to the right, longer, whatnot. Because the line is so soft, you can keep them very soft. You don't have to keep them so dark. If they don't look good, you can kind of overrule them. You draw another line. So, models, your models. Beard. Meredith and Kevin. Okay. I'm going back and forth with Papa for the models for this weekend, and we had a big change in the availability of models recently after the COVID, because a lot of models are they quit. They when the COVID struck, they found themselves without a job and they quit. So it was difficult to find the old model because quite a lot of them found another job to do, and they wouldn't go back to modeling because, you know, it's too risky. Right? COVID could come again, they're out of a job again. But now there are new models that come in at the academy at PAFA. There are many people that lost their jobs, and they picked up modeling. So
What happened to that model we had in Lambertville one time, Steve?
yeah, Steve, he can we can find him. Yeah, Steve, we can work with him.
Fitness instructor.
I'm sorry.
He's a fitness instructor.
He lives in
Yeah.
England.
Yeah,
I have
he's
his card.
no, he was nice, right? He was nice. I next time we have a live session, I would like to hire him again because he was good. He was good. He was nice and sociable, and also a good model. So he knew what he was doing. So
I once had a drawing, my introduction to drawing class. She got a sort of an older man who was a retired dancer.
uh-huh.
He was a flamenco dancer.
Oh yeah, I know him. He had a bit of a scoliosis.
He was a very good model.
Yeah, he had a bit of a scoliosis, right? Did
You
you?
didn't share that with me.
No, it was visible. I mean, but he was a very quiet, very nice, very polite person, tall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I worked with him for a while, and then he had to stop because he was having problem with I think arthritis. He was walking with a cane after a certain point, and but he was very good model. I haven't seen him in a long time. When did you work with him?
oh, as I say, it was my introduction to drawing class.
So it was. I think his name was.
I'm trying to think. It was a nice lady who taught the class.
I think the name of the model was Tom, right?
Sounds right.
Yeah, he was nice. I worked with him quite a lot in Philly.
How are we doing here?
I'm not getting this right. But,
Oh, we can take a break with this from this and then do the other one, another one, right? Could do the
hey, let's not do Fuzzy Man though.
huh?
Let's not do Fuzzy Man.
Fuzzy Man. We can skip it if you want. No, I mean you
I
can.
don't-
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I don't think that's a drawing style I'm gonna live long enough to use.
Yeah, it's so what that is the scaffolding, right? Oh, the Fuzzy Man. Oh, I see. Well, let's do Fortune. You mean you don't want to do this?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do Fortune. Let's do
Let's
luck,
do Fortune.
right?
Okay, can I show you my dress again?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you put it closer? Oh, okay, that looks better. I think that the skirt is a little bit too long compared to the torso, as you can see also from the leg of the man. But it's nice. It's a nice drawing. Right? It's clean. It's a clean technique. Could also be that you're holding the paper at an angle and there's a distortion from the perspective.
Yeah.
So let me see. Yeah, but I think the skirt is a bit too long in terms of proportion, right? But that's good. It's a good drawing. It's fine. It's good. Very nice. Nice. Well, you post it so that I can see it better because it's
Okay.
right. Yeah. But
Yeah,
check
it's fine.
check Carol, check this size, for example. Look at this, right? In your drawing, take the measurement from the top of the head to let's say the corset here, and
Okay.
then bring it down from the corset here, and you see you have now that much, right? Or it could be, let's see, it's about 1.5. So this space in here fits 1.5 times in the skirt. See if you have the same ratio.
Okay. Huh?
It's good.
Mine is probably a little bit too long.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little bit long, right? That's
Not
all.
much, but it is too long.
Okay, well, it's just it's difficult for me to see because if you hold the pad not exactly parallel to the camera, then it is a distortion, so but you post it, so I can help you with that.
Okay.
So Fortuna, luck, right? Lady Fortuna.
Okay.
I just like this work. I stumbled upon it online, and so this is Cesari. Let's see. Get now, I think a fairly compact paper because see how sharp those lines are, and I'm going to use the oil-based Pit Pastel and some. Let me see. Slightly to
Okay, now which is the oil base?
the oil-based Pit Pastel. I'll show you one, right? So the oil-based Pit Pastel is this. This
Okay,
one.
I don't have those.
Then what I would use is I would use color pencils. Color pencils. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use color pencil myself. Let me see. Let me see one thing first, right?
Because you're saying pink pastel, and I'm hearing pink. But anyway,
Pit Pastel. See that pit oil base is called
pastel.
the oil-based Pit Pastel makes a very clean, thin line. It is a pastel, but it's got oil in it. I want to see if I can find the paper that's slightly darker than this one. This is a little bit too light.
So can we use our Pit Pastel not oil pencils?
Oh yes, yes, yes. You can use color pencil. You can use color pencils.
Yeah, full color pastel set.
All right, so I'm gonna use gray paper. It's darker than the original, but let me see. Maybe this one. I'll try to use this one. It's slightly lighter, but not as light as the original. But I don't have that kind of very light paper. So, wait. Maybe I do.
I have a creamy paper that looks right, but kind of a yellow creamy.
Try that. So try to approximate the value, right? Not so much the color, but the value. It's a little bit too dark.
Roberto, who makes pads of paper with multicolored paper in it?
Say that again, Leora.
Some of your pads seem to have pads with multicolors.
Yes, this is it got two. One is this Stonehenge colors. But it's like very lightly toned paper, but it comes with different colors, and it's good. It's a slightly off white, so it's not really dark. Let me show you. See, compared to a white, it's a little bit darker than a white, right? See that, but not much. And then this one instead is it's the Angre paper, Hahnemuller, which is toned, but it's a little bit darker. And that is comes both in sheets or in pads. I really like this paper. It's a little bit softer than I think it should be, but I'm leaning toward using this one because it has a light value here. This is cream and this is grayer, so but maybe this one, right? It's
I
like
also have a whole different question when you get done with that.
I'm sorry.
When we are in Italy,
Yeah.
like we're going to, I looked briefly last night at the agenda. We're going to take things with us into the field, but then also draw and paint back at the hotel. Is that correct?
Yes. So in the field we're gonna do watercolors, and then at the hotel,
Watercolor?
we're gonna do figure.
Okay, so we don't have to backpack our drawing stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna draw the figure, right?
Okay,
At the hotel.
At the hotel. But we don't have to pack it outside. No,
okay.
you just need a pencil to sketch on the watercolor paper, right? But you don't need all the gear for drawing.
Okay. All right. So I'm using my Faber-Castell colored pencils here.
Yeah, I'm gonna use you're gonna use this. I wanna try the Pit Pastel oil base.
Okay, here.
And this has also a black color.
Yeah, because I guess what we were asking about the backpacks is we can pack more drawing material in our suitcases as long as we don't have to carry it all over Rome.
Yeah, but you have
I'll
to
be
carry.
back in 1 minute.
But you just need a pad of paper, right? And so what I like to do, let me show you what I like to do. I take a drawing pad like this, and then it has sheets of paper in it. Then I take 2 or 3 different sheets of paper, maybe tone paper and different type of paper, cut to the same size, and then put them in here. So in the same pad, I have all the paper I need, right?
Okay.
You can get this is expensive paper. You can get the Strathmore, right? Paper,
I have
which is
that.
cheaper, and it's very good. So
For the watercolor, I got both Leora and I the Arches 9x12.
that's good. That's perfect. Yeah,
That was good.
that's good. That's good.
Boy, did that go up in price. I
So,
bought that in March, and it was 42. Now it's 57.
it's incredible. The price of paper is going up. It's just
It's all
incredible.
going to Amazon.
It's incredible. I just I had a lot of watercolor paper bought years ago. I had really a lot of packs of watercolor paper,
Yeah.
and eventually I ran out of it. I had to go buy new pads. After years, I wasn't buying paper, and I was shocked how expensive it's gotten now. It's just they say that most of the paper now, paper pulp, is going for Amazon for packaging, and
So we
Switched
heard.
over their machines to do cardboard, and they can't or don't want to switch back.
I got a guaranteed market with the cardboard.
you should invest in that, right?
Need more artists.
Need more artists. So I'm gonna go. So my paper is a little bit darker than that. That's fine. That's what I have. It means that probably I'm gonna use a little bit more white than Cesare used here, right? So we can start with. Let's see. We can start with the. Let's see if I can change this side reflection. With the. I start with the rib cage, right? When we start with the rib cage, we're gonna make sure that we have enough space. As you position this, we're gonna make sure we have enough space for the development of the whole figure in the paper, right? Let's keep these lines very light to begin with. And try to replicate the same ratio width to height. Not measuring much now, just looking at more or less at the proportion. You see how this proportion here are the typical proportion described by the stereometric method, where the rib cage in women is slightly narrower than the width of the hips. Right? Then we have the hips here, right here. And there's a nice continuity between this line here and this line here, right? Beautiful, right? So now the shoulder here is straight from the jugular fossa, the clavicle goes straight out like this, and this goes up almost 45 degrees. Look at that. The head now is coming.
What was that, 45 degrees?
The clavicle and deltoid, see that? Compared to the vertical and the horizontal line, that's almost about 45 degrees.
Oh, that's the one, yes.
See
I
that?
didn't know which one we were drawing. Yes, I'm sorry.
But the other one is horizontal, see this?
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 2, right? 1, 2. So the neck and the face, I'm looking at the angle of the face, right? Look how also the angle of the face is 45 degrees, right? See that?
Mm-hmm.
More or less, right? That helps to just looking at these things as angles. It really permits us to be more objective about the tilt of the arm, the tilt of the head, the angle of the arms. I'm looking how much space I have between the chin and the jugular fossa here, or the clavicle. Clavicle is not very used, right, in English. It's more a collarbone, right? Always. So then we have the line here of the linea alba, the sternum, the navel, right? All these interesting landmarks that can really help us. So the hips, and we can see, for example, can eyeball the genitals right here, and then check how the two halves relate to each other. And if that's the genital, I take the head here, bring it down, and that measurement gets down to the ankle. So the ankle is going to be here. So in the center, the inside of the leg goes down straight. I look actually a little bit more to the right of the navel here. And then from the hips, I have this curve of the leg coming down like this, down to the ankles. And the foot is added to that measurement.
Okay, genital, I don't get that.
Well,
Genitals,
you gotta figure out where they are here, more or less at the center of this
top
claw.
of the head.
From the top of the head to here, right?
Okay, I was going from the bottom of the head. Sorry.
The top of the head to where? I'm sorry.
To the genitals here, right?
Okay.
More or less. So it doesn't have to be super precise, but you see how we have now this alignment, right, of the ankle here. What is that? The ankle is right at the jugular fossa here, so I need to move it a little bit right here. And then I know now where the ankles end. So now I have this leg, the calves, right, and the foot develops below the level of the ankles, out like that, right? So this other leg is beautifully foreshortened, and I'm guesstimating the knee to be here, so this other knee is a little bit higher. I take a break. Shall I take a break?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting the hips here. I'm working on the hips. Okay.
Wait. I'm not there.
You good? So now we see how. Actually, let's start with with the root of the leg, right? The root of the leg here is here, right? Here. But on this leg is lifted because the leg comes up, so this portion here is a little bit higher than the previous, so we move it up here a little bit. See how the rib cage here, actually the hips go out here like this and they connect with this leg, which is going down slightly at an angle, right? Slightly at an angle. It ends just above the line of the ankle, so that's the ankle. So that leg ends up here. That's the foot, right? That's the thigh. The knee is higher than the other knee here. Just looking at the angle here, right? And then we have now the calves, like that. So I'm looking at this space. It looks good. So we're not really drawing very precise anatomical feature now. There is some organic form, some description of the muscle, but mostly it's just to see how long the various segments are, right? So this drawing, as you can see, has a stronger component of anatomy than the Watteau has. The Watteau, the figures basically just, the only anatomy you see is the head and the hands, right? The rest is clothes. We can still use the same method of comparing measurement with measurement, like we did with Watteau. We did measure from the head to the end of the corset, and then the skirt. This case, instead, we go back to drawing the proportion, the typical proportion of the human body, not the clothes. But it's staying the same approach. Make sure that we have the proportional relationship correct. So look at the negative space between the legs here.
That's what I just did. I had to move my whole leg.
Yeah, that is an objective measurement, right? It tells you, look, it's too much, too wide, whether it's a leg or whether it's a train or a car, the space between the various parts is too much or too little. You just can't see it much more easily. Think in terms of space and abstract.
My second thigh is too short.
So see what the heel gets to? It's just a little bit above the heel, the ankle. See that? So that's the ankles here, and then that's the foot here. I didn't measure I didn't relate the measure of the head to the rest of the figure, but I mean, we can also avoid, we can also trust our instinct, right? And then not measure every single thing.
Well, I'm still at the point where I do need to measure more because everything looks totally out of proportion.
Yeah, no, do that. Measure.
Go back to the negative space here.
Yeah, do that. Measure as much as you need to, and then eventually you will train to see proportion more accurately. But take your time, measure, right? But what you could do, Carol, an intermediate step is first draw and then measure. So that first you start trusting your instinct. You start thinking, okay, how big is that? That looks good, and you put it down, right? And then you measure it. So look how the breasts are one lower and one higher, of course, because
pencils don't erase easily.
I'm sorry.
Colored pencils don't erase easily.
No, they don't. But keep it light. Keep the mark light, right? Don't push it too hard. It should be easier to take it off. But if you make it light,
The harder I push it, the more accurate the line. Isn't that what happens?
Sorry.
I feel like if I put
Oh yeah.
line here.
Yeah. Like when you make your point by shouting, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly. It's shouting with the pencil.
Start with the pencil, and then.
Okay. Where are we now? Oh, we've got breasts. Okay.
So you have the breast. One is higher, one is lower.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is really red, black, and white technique, right? Very delicate, but it's red, black, and white technique. I'm looking now at the negative space between the hair, the head, and the arm here. And look at the angle of the arm and look at the elbow. The elbow gets to just above the eyes, the forehead, so that's the elbow here. And then this arm goes straight up. So the arm, when you draw this, you can, this level of, you can conceptualize the arm as something drawn like this. Start with a 2x4 for the wrist, and then end up with a conical truncated cone formed like that, like this, so that it's easier. See that this is round section, that's square section. So I can eyeball the height of the arm, of the forearm. And the hand. So this is something, this cloth here that you see like that, is something that you see in the Greek sculpture. It comes from there, in fact, when they show the goddess appearing, almost like this is a portal, right? Victory, a goddess, it's like a portal where she comes through and manifests herself, and it's now seen in these Renaissance works. Oh, it is. So let's see if this works. Probably can find a darker red, a pit pastel. You know, the cost of paper is outrageous, outrageous. We're going back to, it's going to be more convenient to use parchment pretty soon.
No, it's not.
I'm going to raise my own lambs and kill them and make parchment. Or veal, right? I think it was veal. Vellum comes from veal, right? So vitellum, right?
I didn't know that.
I think it was unborn calves. It was making the softest parchment. Okay, so I can block the other arm in. We can see, so blocking the navel, right? And when I say blocking the navel, I can see if the navel is positioned properly in relation to the rest of the anatomy. So see, if you look at this curve here of the rib cage and try to connect it with the curve, and you see that the navel is just below that, right? This curve here like this. So we can replicate that curve, and it's just not a really precise method of measuring, but good enough. And then we look at the space between the navel and the breast, and when you find the nipple, you see that this triangle here created by the alignment of the nipples, navel. This could be measured, right? But if you have the same triangle, more or less, we are good to go. So now the end of the upper arm is between, more or less between the nipples and the navel. So it's about here, closest to the, slightly close to the navel. At the point where the rib cage ends and the hips start widening. Same thing for the forearm. We block in starting with the truncated cones, upper portion for the forearm, and we move down to a 2x4 when we get down to the wrist, which is at the level of the genitals, right? The hand. So we can block in the sphere under the foot. The winged sphere. It looks like one of those Segway things that people use now, right? You see those people, that little mono wheel, right?
Yeah, I've always wanted to use one of those.
They look dangerous to me.
No, they're not. I've used one. They're not. They're like, oh, okay, tried it.
So they, if you go on top of it, they're not. They kind of balance.
No, they don't. They don't tip over easily.
Huh?
What, those it things?
The Segway.
The Segway thing. But now they have just the wheels, right? The wheel with the two things on this side. The Segway. The Segway without handles, just one wheel.
I don't see the point of it, which is why I think they didn't take off.
Yeah, also they might be very expensive, right?
What, the Segway?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they use them in big corporations, like warehouses, to move around.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Really.
Okay, I'm working on the sphere now.
So now, again, blocking the wings, tickling her feet.
Oh my gosh. I didn't experience nothing. No, he's not, but you know.
And we can block in the swirling cloth right here, like from the hand to here, and then look at the negative space. We have another segment, 1, 2, 3. See that 1, 2, 3. They are always broken down in all these parts of the composition of the body of the element included in the drawing are broken down in segment because they are more measurable. One, two, right? 1, 2. And then
could you just start that again? Is that possible?
yeah, sure. So I started from the hand, see that here, right?
Okay.
And then when I draw this, what I do, I want to see starting point and ending point. I see that. Also look at the negative space. Here probably have a little bit more hair, that's why I made it looks like. So I look at the negative space here, right? Try to have the same negative space. I go down, and where does it stop? Right, well, maybe a little bit past the hand here, and just above the level of the head here. Then, uh, then I look at this portion here. See that? See how it's made up of segment. I actually all of this is segment. It's not just a continuous curve. You want to see it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. See that?
Yes.
Because that will make it more structural. Will make it more three-dimensional, because an angle implies a plane more easily than a curved line. So then the same thing is for the other side, and you have now we have from the hand we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this one here is a little bit lower. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Then of course we go same thing on the other side, right? You repeat that segmentation of the cloth, or again any part of the body for that matter. I'm looking now at where is this cloth getting. It's down at the level of the navel here. So we have this goes out here, and that is just here, out here. Then changes angle up like this. That change of angle is at the level of the elbow, and then we have this breaking, this part broken down in 2 segments, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. See, doing this, the whole thing become more measurable. All this complex cloth become more measurable. You just identify length, the different segments, right? Now, it also, this is going to be precise if the figure is also precise, because we are basing this clothing here, the measure of the cloth, where the angle are changing. We are comparing them with the measurement of the figure. So you really have to make sure that the initial measurement of the figure is quite accurate, because then it will become our point of reference. So now we have here a cloth coming up like this, horizontal, tangent with the other cloth, and it goes behind the calves in here, just below the knee. I see, right? So
Okay, damn it. Sorry.
here it goes out like that. Here changes angle just above the knee, just down. Same thing, right? This one, 1, 2. We can just eyeball the length of that, right? I like how this cloth really kind of creates a whirling all around the figure, here, back, right? So from the back in here, come forward, goes back again behind. You can imagine start from here, and it goes above that, back again. Quite some thinking in positioning that cloth, right?
Walt, did you take the green coat out? Oh, thank you. Okay, I just heard them. That's all.
And now we have the cloth wrapping around this beautiful figure, right?
Oh, I got the top.
The more I like this drawing, the more I like, the more I look at it, the more I like it. It's really lovely done, lovely, beautifully done with great attention to detail, right? All these lines, cross hatching, this the um, tonal tonal cross hatching.
Okay, whoops, I didn't get that stuff between your legs there.
Which one, Lyra?
I haven't gotten the stuff between her legs there yet.
Oh, the cloth.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think my leg is not long enough. 'Cause my
See if you
cloth
can
is running-
see if you can
No, no,
compare
no,
it.
no, I don't have, no, I have that cloth not up close enough to the knee. That's right.
So in my measurement, the space between head and genitals gets down from the genitals to the ankle bone, to the ankle bone. The foot needs to be added.
No, I just was running into the wings, and then I realized that I had the cloth in the wrong.
Ah, okay.
Thank goodness.
I don't feel like my leg is long.
Maybe the leg needs to be just a tad longer.
Mine is according to this, but maybe my cloth is too big.
Because my wings are going to bump into my cloth if I don't.
Move the wings, that's easier. Oh, that's starting out.
So you really want to try this bit oil-based pencil. They're quite good for making very thin, precise lines. They're quite good.
And how do we keep them sharp?
Sandpaper.
I think I'm going to need to bring a large sheaf of sandpaper with me.
A large chunk of what?
Sheaf of sandpaper. That's
Oh.
out of Rome.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, I put the horizon line on the back, that helped a lot. Mine's not quite in the right place, but
So you have a whole itinerary already?
what?
You have an itinerary to when you're in Rome, places to go see.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going on a Caravaggio tour.
Oh, neat. That's what I want to do too. Let me know what it's like.
There's a Caravaggio in Princeton. Have you ever seen that?
No, I know there is, but I've never seen it. Is it good?
I haven't seen it.
I gotta go see it. Yeah, they have a nice little museum.
And here we draw this foot.
I'm refining now the outline of the figure, right?
I gotta make some changes here.
So you see the line, the cross section of the lines is the same approach that we see later on in Paul Cadmus. But Paul Cadmus has a lot of more line, his figures are bigger. But it's the same cross contour tonal hatching that we have described in another occasion with the structural line that gets so packed together and so many that they start becoming also tonal, not just structural. See the touch
No,
it up.
I needed that horizon line to get the fabric in the right spot.
Yeah, the horizon line.
Yeah, don't worry about that. We can move the horizon line a little bit higher, a little bit lower, right?
But that's the one line you don't have to worry about, Leora.
It's your
Every other line, critical.
it's your universe, right? You make it.
I know, but I have to. It made things.
Gave you a perspective.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be a big difference, right?
We're not gonna.
I'm not drawing that cat thing. I'm not gonna line a cat.
You don't worry about the horizon line, but because we can work on the figure, and then the horizon line is whatever that is, right?
You just gave a measurement of where we were with the legs.
I mean, the horizon line is important to give you the sense of space, right? Where the point of view is, etc. Clearly, whoever drew this, the figure was standing up higher because higher than himself, because the horizon line is very low. So the horizon line is at the level of the eyes. So his head was here, and he was looking up, right? So now I would like to start blocking some of these beautiful cross contour hatching lines here. They follow the turning of the thigh. See that? I'm going to enlarge this so you can see it better.
The hatching on the thigh, okay.
Yeah, see how beautiful that is, right? This goes horizontal like this, and then this turns down like this. Very delicate, right? And this turns down this way. That's why I like to call this structural, because it really follows the turning of the structure, right? This is makes me think of engraving, this technique, right? So here, also here, this part, then eventually we can darken it up a little bit. To darken that up, I would probably, so I need to get this change of angle here slightly sharper between the adductors and the quadricep, right? So here and here, a little bit sharp, and there's a little bit of a dark point here, a dark value where the vastus mediali comes out, and there is a little bit of a darker spot here, just above the knee, right? And that is the goose foot. So it's so incredibly correct anatomically, that's not even funny. El malleolus, right? So this red is much more similar to the red that Cesare was using here. So at least we don't have that problem. So all these chalks and colors, they were sometimes coming from local mines, right? So you gotta have, you will have different colors depending what kind of geology you have around you. And a lot of these, there's sanguine, these red chalks, the mine, they are exhausted, you don't find it anymore, so this line come down like this, right? The calves. That's where you usually use a little bit of black, right, to create a sense of shading. So eventually we're gonna use the black for that too. I think Angel started teaching now at NYU. He's teaching photography for the summer.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's what he had to do, yeah.
Yeah, they asked him to teach a course to young students. They want to go to college and take photography. Trying to teach them what he was doing, like reporting photography, like going on the field, and so it must be exciting. I don't know if you can see the line that I'm making because the resolution is not superb as I enlarge the drawing, but you can see the lines in the photography that you have, in the reproduction that you have, because in my drawing, I mean in the reproduction I see here on the screen, it's also a little bit fuzzy, right?
It works, so.
You see it. You see it. You have an idea. You see the line, right, in your print, right?
Yes, no, I see the lines clearly.
Good, good. So that's really important
Can
to
I
see.
make the lines?
Because what I'm trying to do, I would like to block in some lines to darken the value with cross-hatching lines. But again, the cross-hatching here is not perpendicular. It's going to be slightly at an angle, right? Like this, right? It's like at an angle. my poor index is all crooked because of years and years of drawing. I flattened a part of the finger. See that? And
Is
on
that
the
from stretching things out too?
nail, I have the callus here, right? And I have this nail now is leaning to the right because of pushing the pencil like this. It kind of permanently twisted the tip of the finger.
Yep. All my fingers on my right hand sail to the right.
Oh, really?
I just think that's where they came from.
From drawing, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, drawing or using the pencil, writing.
Writing.
I don't have any fingerprints left.
Oh no, because of the gardening?
No, and when you use the technology and you have to open your iPad or something using your fingerprint identification,
Uh-huh.
doesn't acknowledge me.
Oh, really?
Mine doesn't either.
No, women lose their fingerprints, somebody told me, but anyway.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
A friend of mine was getting fingerprinted at the airport for something and they couldn't get her fingerprints.
Huh.
It's because they know old women don't go into for crime, so they're whatever.
So I'm pushing this darker, right? Cross-hatching. And I can now take, see, we can push this red a little bit more here. And eventually we can go back and forth with the black, right, and red to push it. So now I want to get the black now and start blocking in black into the red. So what happening here, this is the pure red, black, and white technique. We're going to change the chroma of the red with some black. We're going to do two things: change the chroma and extend the value, making it darker, right? But you see how this area here is, I mean, if I could try to make it as dark as that with just the red, but it will not do it because this red is not as dark, or it does not have a tonal extension as a tonal range as much as the black. But this is, at the same time, it's not just black, it's red and black together. So the red, the black will lower the chroma of the red, making it less red, let's say, and darker. And now I see the leg coming forward because I darkened that, right? So all of this profile here could be a little bit darker, so I'm going to, but now it's very, very important to keep this pencil sharp. If the black gets too black, you can go over it with red again, and so on, right? Or if the red gets too red, you can add black. So this part in here is darker. There's a little bit of black here. And it goes on the other side of the leg here. You can see how the black really helps to create a sense of shadow. In the shadow mass, the chroma is reduced. So we're going to put the black only in the shadow mass.
I just think I just changed her ethnicity, but anyway.
What ethnicity is she now?
Well, she's getting darker.
Can I just show you my leg? See if I'm on the right track, please.
Yeah. So I think what it is the length looks like it's a little bit too abducted. So look at the negative space,
Yes. Oh yeah, it's kicking too far.
but
Okay.
don't change it. Don't change it. I mean,
No.
no, I wouldn't. I think it's the important thing is now that you kind of practice these tonal structural
Right, that's
rendering.
what I was looking for, is your feedback on the tonal, because I struggle with that.
It's too out of focus. I cannot really see it. No, it's just that is not clear. It's small image is not clear. So if you post it, I can look at it. I can give you better advice.
Okay.
Are we getting a message here, Carol?
What?
Post your works, post your works, post your
Post your works, yeah, I'm getting that. I have been bad at that recently. I like doing this though.
So now I also want to block in a little bit of this cloth here. You see there's the line here, the leg, see that under the cloth? So he drew the whole figure, like we did. I drew the whole figure as if there was no cloth.
I've got it.
Because it's easier like that. You maintain a certain. Otherwise, you risk to have the leg not properly connecting with the body, and then you put the cloth on top of it. Yesterday I had a funny. When I was calling you guys to know your age and date of birth and residency, I called Isabel, right? And I guess she was busy. Picked up the phone and said, "Hi, Isabel, it's me. It's Roberto. I would like to, and then explain the thing with insurance, right?" And then she started saying, "No, I don't need an insurance." But Isabel, you already paid for it. No, I don't want it. I don't need it. So after a while, like for 5 minutes, I realized that she thought she didn't understand who I was, and she thought it was somebody trying to sell her an insurance.
Oh no.
It was so funny. And then she said, "Isabel, it's Roberto." "Oh, I'm so sorry." But she was very polite. I mean, firm, but polite but firm. And she said, "No, I don't need an insurance. I don't want to buy it." I said, "No, you don't. No, you don't have to buy it." Then I started thinking maybe she didn't understand who I am, and so I told her, and then we couldn't stop laughing. We couldn't stop
That's
laughing.
so funny.
I know how people that want to try to sell you something on the phone, I feel like, right? But but
No, but like your name comes up on my phone, so I
yeah.
knew it was you.
I guess she didn't check it. She didn't see it. She just
didn't
picked
check
up the
that.
phone. Probably she was at work, right? And she she picked up the
Maybe
phone.
she didn't have your number in her phone.
Yeah, probably, but maybe she didn't check it, right? And because my name, your name, everybody's name comes up when I call, and but I guess that was really funny.
You were lucky you got her to stay on the phone. I'm like, no thanks, bye.
Yep, that's what I do. But you know, mostly they are all recorded messages, right? They want to sell you the, what do I call it, that car insurance that you break the car, and thinking, Jesus.
I'm convinced that people that want to get your car re-warranted are Russians spying on it. Don't ask me why. I just am.
They want to sell you
They
the
keep calling about a car we sold years ago.
it's like a, you know, protection plan, and it's basically selling. It's like gambling for them, not gambling, but it's calculated gamble, saying, you know, we're going to get so much money from these people, we're never going to pay anything back or very little, and we keep the money. So they're really not producing anything, right? It's just
Right.
so now is here, I'm darkening all this side here, so we see how we need to push this arm back a little bit. This is really fun. I like this drawing a lot.
I was scared of it at the beginning, but now I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's just a little jewel, right?
Yeah. I thought, oh God, he's going to pick that one. We're all still grateful we haven't done Trevi Fountain, by the way.
You're so grateful, what?
We have not done the Trevi Fountain.
Yeah, but we're going to be in Rome, Carol. We can do it.
Right.
We can just-
Trevi Fountain was yeah, the Trevi Fountain was.
I don't think we need to draw it again. They did a good job the first time.
So how is this drawing? How did it come out in terms of proportion? And see, I've seen that, Carol, in the case of the leg, your leg is a little bit more abducted, but it looks like the length of the legs is okay.
Yeah, I moved her leg a little, so
Okay.
a little bit back on track, not quite.
You know, sometimes it takes a little bit of kind of warming up, right, when you draw. Just
Oh,
that's
gosh,
the way it is, right?
Some of us are brand new to drawing.
Not you.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. This is the first time I've ever taken a drawing course with you.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought you already took some drawing courses.
Well, with you, yes, but not enough.
Ah, okay. So that's the belly, right? So very, very fine cross hatching. But again, not perpendicular cross hatching. It has to follow the form. I want to send a message to the other students that are not here today, so that we can start this, because I would like to work on this next week. What you say?
Oh, we're not here.
Oh, you're not here. Okay,
Let's
okay.
start over again with them next week. We're in Rome.
Oh, you're oh, yes, true. That's true. You're leave early. Keep forgetting that.
You can take the week off on searching for photographs.
Well, take as many photographs as you can, because we can use
No,
them.
you can take the. You don't have to get new photographs for the other students.
You know, I'm gonna take plenty of photographs, right? But you take them too, so we can have a kind of a library of photographs. And
Yeah, well said, person, I heard it.
Carol, I can hear you.
Sorry, wrong one, Sam.
okay, so
Okay.
Well, look at the time. It's another 5 minutes, right? Another 5 minutes.
Oh no.
So the
Well, we
two.
can keep drawing, Leora.
We can.
Just so I don't know. I just love it. This drawing. It's really growing on me.
I like her.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful pose, beautiful composition, beautiful scene. So now we can do the same thing here for the black, right? On the side of the belly here, side of the rib cage here, top of the chest, get the black. So this needs to be darkened a little bit more, right? On the side here, right? The belly here too. The navel got some black too. And then we take the black and then we push that value and lower the chroma and
I have two navels and I can't erase one.
Oh no. Take the hard eraser. Sometimes that works better than the soft eraser.
I know it.
do you have this eraser, Leora?
Oh, okay, I do. I have that.
Try that.
I love that. I love that.
It could work a little bit better, but yeah, the color pencil is really hard to get rid of. It's really hard. But that's why you need to keep the lines light when you start drawing with the color pencil, until you then know you got the right line. Then you can push it a little bit more.
Well, I think we should be proud of ourselves. We did 2 pictures today.
2 pictures, right? Well, 1.5, right?
We did 3.
Oh, you're right. We did 2.
Great.
Yes,
Great.
yes. We did.
Let's not short ourselves here.
We did a lot. We did a lot today. We did a lot today, right?
We did.
You so to as you
Rapid speed.
well your drawing technique is improving, right? Precision is improving, so you can draw faster and better.
Well, we haven't gotten to the face yet. No, but I remember when we first were learning the crosshatch, I thought, what the heck is this? But boy, it is really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like this gal.
As you increase the difference in temperature and in chroma, then that also increases the three-dimensionality, because it pushes one plane more, farther back from the other one or farther forward from the other one. So puts more distance
Well, that
between
left
them.
arm, it's going to need a lot of shading.
This one here, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Because that needs to go back behind the breast, right? And then it also has a little bit of black in there, right? So
Yeah.
so let's try to do this now here. You see how immediately that makes it cooler, but be careful, don't push it too hard at the beginning, because if you put too much black, it's difficult to balance with red later.
Shoulder is just too big.
I need to lift the face. There's some space between the chin and the shoulder here.
Arm is just.
I cannot keep my lines fine enough.
I'm like a muscle man arm here. Left arm belongs to that guy in the other picture.
Yeah, right.
That's better. Oh, no, it doesn't look good.
Sorry, I moved the thing up and you guys didn't see what I was doing.
I mean, arm crises.
All right, let's go eat something. You're gonna keep working on this.
Maybe.
What's in it for me, right?
Well, I might. I don't know, but I think I will eat.
It could be interesting. I mean, you already got
I'm
quite a
anxious
lot
to
of
do-
it, right? And then practice blocking in these values, the cross hatching, bring the chroma. But it's clear, right? We already done the red, black, and white in our occasion, and it's the same method. So you're going to use the red to create most of the figure, most of the work, the tonal volumetric work with the red, just the red, and push the tonal scale as much as you can with the color you have, the red, and then when you need to get into the shadow mass, you use the black. The black will change the chroma, change the temperature, and will start creating an increase, enhanced sense of volume, but also a clear distinction between light mass and shadow mass. So you do not put black in the light mass. The black is only for the shadow mass. There might be also some white areas in here, I'm not sure, but probably here. There is some white here, right? Here on the belly. Here this thigh. But you don't mix the white with the red. Unlike the black and the red, they do mix. The red and the white, or the white and the black, do not mix. You don't want to keep them. You don't mix them, right? All right. So
Right.
I'll see you in Rome then.
Rome.
Yeah, we can't wait. Exciting.
Yeah, should be nice, right? Should be really nice. So, and it's hot, so get your hat, right?
I always travel with a hat.
Yeah, the hat that you had when you came here was really nice. I like that with a straw hat. It was really nice.
I forget which hat it was.
So glad that day we
But
didn't.
it also saves having to get all hair done.
Yeah, I guess, right. But I'm so glad that day we didn't draw outside. It was so hot.
But your patio was so beautiful.
Yeah, now
It has a beautiful climbing rose.
yeah, that climbing rose is really lovely, and it blooms when it's Emilia's birthday. We bought that for Emilia, and when it's her birthday, comes out with these beautiful colors and smells divine. And I can't remember what is the name of that climbing rose. I didn't,
Roses are tough that way.
but I have cuttings. I can get cuttings, and if you want some, and
No, I have a lady who helps in my garden when I'm gone for 6 months, and I come back and there are things that aren't. She's made decisions, and I like her very much, so I don't say anything. But she pulled out a rose that I had, and she put in another one.
oh
It
no.
was a climbing rose, and it is just sickly. It just won't.
Well, this is a good year for roses. It should be good.
No, it's sickly.
No, I just
Why
got a
did she-
new rose.
Why did she pull it out?
Because the one I had, I bought from a famous rosarian, and it was a very small cutting.
Uh-huh.
And I was waiting for it to develop, and I was going, oh, I've got this rare antique rose. And she thought it was too small, so she just pulled it out.
You gotta tell her because, you know, it's clearly she doesn't know much.
But she's nice. I can't.
She knows plants, but
Can you find another rose? Can you find another rose like that? Or?
She planted, I spent all day yesterday pulling out something. Yeah, I'm going to have to get another one. Pulling out something in the garden that she had planted that's just taking over like a weed.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna talk to her.
my gardens are abundant. I'm sort of sorry to leave them. I did not get that shoulder.
All right, so
Okay, we'll let you go.
we'll see you. I'll see you.
Pleasant morning.
I'll see you in Rome, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Roberto.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Lovely, lovely morning.
Yeah, really, it was. It was.
All right.
Bye bye.
My drawing looks just like yours.
Post it. Post it.
Yeah, I gotta finish it first. Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, there's the